So the program this program is all the time changing. Please bear with us. Anyway, right now what we're going to do is first I call upon two of his GMO servants that they will come and speak. I will introduce them to you in a short while. Then we have Gopal's Play School. They are supposed to perform one or two plays here. And then after that, but then hopefully Guru Maharaj will come. And then we are giving darshan, group darshan to two groups today. The first one will be Melbourne. Melbourne devotees will have on stage. Guru Maharaj can be here. All Melbourne devotees can come and come up here. And then he will have we'll have a personal session with you, and you can give your reports, the disciples, what activities they are doing for the pleasure of Guru Maharaj. And then of course followed by Sydney. Sydney also will be doing it. And I hope by then this thing will take some time, and that's basically what we are hoping to do. So without much delay, I call upon Mahavaraha. Now Mahavaraha and Ekanath Gaura were going to come up here. They have been serving Guru Maharaj for a very, very long time. I used to know Mahavaraha as a small boy. And in those days when we used to come, of course Ekanath used to come to Malaysia those days. And those days when I was in Malaysia, I used to come to Australia, and we used to go to Moorvelamba to serve Guru Maharaj there. And at that time Ekanath was still a very young boy. So all this happened many, many years ago. But they are such very dedicated servants, and they have such intimate pastimes with Guru Maharaj, and they will enlighten us with a lot of stories, personal experiences, which should be very spiritually enlightening. So I call upon Mahavaraha Prabhu and Ekanath Gaura to please come up to the stage and tell us your experiences with Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. You want to know who is who? Mahavaraha is a saffron clad person, and with the blue. That is this. Ekanath Gaura.
Yeah, because of Guru Maharaj's eyes.
We also like to welcome, today we have with us a new guest, Mr. Palani. He's one of the Malaysian airline crew who flew with us this morning. We flew with him. Mr. Palani.
Yeah, hey.
So we saw Guru Maharaj on board, and then we invited him to come to the temple, so he's here. Welcome, Mr. Palani. So today, while we are waiting for Guru Maharaj to come, as Malik Prabhu said that we would like to share some of our realization and pastimes with Guru Maharaj. How many of you would like to hear? We need to get the response from the audience. Otherwise, we'll change the subject matter. Because generally, being a devotee, having a normal lifestyle as a non-devotee, then after you become a devotee, and generally devotees, we always say that we face a lot of challenges in our life, or Maya is testing me, or Krishna is testing me. But we, how do we put things like, if at all Krishna puts me in a condition, physically challenging condition, like how Salinas Jayapataka Maharaj is going through now, what would be the lifestyle, or how a person is facing that sort of lifestyle? Because just being a devotee and then having facing a lot of challenges, a lot of devotees, they find a lot of difficulties, or they may feel that even their devotional life is being challenged due to the external challenges that we face. So here we like to share with you how, if a person is put into a physically challenged condition, how he is having or going through his lifestyle, and also how is he practicing his devotional life. So the reason why we wanted to share this with you is just to also let you know, or give you tips, if at all in the future, Krishna forbids, if at all we may, who knows, we may also have to go through this. We may not know what kind of challenges waiting for us in the future. So with this, we would like to, it's kind of like sharing the tips how a person can even, being in physically challenged condition, being a big spiritual master, being a spiritual leader of the society, how even being put into this physically challenged condition, how is he practicing his spiritual life. Like, how many of you ever had a thought that how Jayapataka Maharaj being in this condition chanting his rounds? Because generally chanting, we do our chanting in beats. But how many of you ever thought, or it would have crossed your mind that how Jayapataka Maharaj is completing his rounds or chanting his rounds? Have you ever thought about this? Okay, one or two. Like when Jayapataka Maharaj, he had this stroke, that was in the year of 2008, October 2008. He was admitted in the hospital, Hinduja hospital in Bombay, and for almost 1 month he was in a very critical condition. He was in coma, and then he came out from the coma, and he was not physically, how critical he was, Ekanath will explain to you in detail soon. And then how he came out of that coma, and then how, because he realized, after coming out of the coma, he realized that he will not be able to walk anymore, that he's physically, many things has changed in him, and how is he going to cope up with this new lifestyle? Because many of you know how active he was before he had this stroke, how actively he was traveling and preaching, attending practically many of the Adelaide in the world, practically attending all the important meetings in the world, and the way he was traveling around. Sometimes he travels 2 or 3 cities, or sometimes 2 or 3 countries in a day. How active, many of you know. I don't know how many of you are first time, or I don't know how many of you are seen him before he had a stroke. How many of you have seen Jayapataka Maharaj before he had a stroke? So very few actually, very few. So explain about
Jai Guru Maharaj ki. So first, I would like to thanks all of you for coming. And Prabhu for inviting us. This is my first time in Adelaide. I came to Australia a few times. I never came to this beautiful temple. Actually, Guru Maharaj after the stroke went through so many difficult challenges. His right side of the body has paralysis, semi-paralyzed. He has little feeling. Sometimes he feels a little bit more, sometimes he doesn't feel so much. He doesn't have balance. His left side of his head is paralyzed. Therefore, he cannot close the eyes. He doesn't have a lateral movement so much. It's very limited. His speech is affected. His left ear is affected, so he cannot hear sometimes. So sometimes you talk to him and he doesn't answer. It's not like he's not hearing actually. So you need to speak always on the right side. And then he doesn't have balance. So sometimes it's difficult. It's difficult for him to walk without balance. One time I was sitting for a long time when I tried to move my legs, they were completely numb. So I tried to walk and it was completely difficult. So it's like that. It's a kind of feelings like that is very hard. His brain is totally. His memory and understanding is perfect. Was not affected at all. And apart from that, he has many internal issues. He has blood pressure, blood sugar, hepatitis C. In 1999, when he was attacked in the airport, they cut the neck, and when he got a blood transfusion, in those days they didn't check for hepatitis C, so he got hepatitis C. So we just found out this when he got the stroke. So in this condition, he's traveling and doing a lot of preaching activities. And actually it's very hard because when you travel with a person that he's not in a body consciousness, he wants to do things that his body doesn't allow him, and still he will do, and he will carry out. So that is with Guru Maharaj in this condition. We have seen that he's totally out of his body conscious. He's completely focused in his spiritual activities, preaching, distributing the mercy of Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya all over the world, and that's his only business. And if this destroys his body, he doesn't care. It's not like he doesn't care, but that's why he came to this material world. He wants to fulfill his mission. So today I thought that I will speak a little bit more about one aspect of his mission that was given to Srila Prabhupada to him. That is the development of our temple in Mayapur, the temple of Vedic Planetarium. So there is some pastimes related to that with Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, Lord Chaitanya. So we cannot understand how important is for us this mission.
How many of you, I'll speak on the aspect of his sadhana mainly, how even being put into this kind of physically challenged condition, how is he keeping up with his sadhana? Because it is important for every single devotee, being a devotee, that you have to complete your 16 rounds, you have to follow 4 principles, and you have to daily read Prabhupada books, and you have to attend programs, Mangala Arati, and you have to daily take darshan of the Lord, These are the daily sadhanas. Every devotees, it is a must for every single devotees. They have to follow their sadhanas because sadhana is the spiritual food which nourishes our spiritual life, which is going to make us to advance in our spiritual life. So being in this physically challenged condition, you may wonder because as we are now, we are all of us, in fact all of us are here in a normal condition physically. This is called normal condition. We can, and it's how Ekanath Prabhu was explaining how that Guru Maharaj is going, how he is having his disabilities, physical challenges, and with this, how is he coping up with his sadhana? So when after he had this stroke, that he found out, that he realized after 1 month of being in coma and came out of this coma state, he realized that he will not be able to walk anymore, and he also was not able to, he lost the complete function of this right hand. And then slowly after some physiotherapy, and then he gained some sort of function for this right hand. But otherwise, you see, as Prabhu was explaining, that he found that he has to, even for eating, he has to depend on somebody, for using the washroom, for shower, for dressing, to dress up himself. For every single activities, he has to depend on somebody, for walking, everything. Only after some physiotherapy, he was able to feed himself on his own. So with all this kind of condition, and the doctors seriously advised him that in order to recover, because they said the post-stroke period, the best period to recover is the first 2 years. And this is the best time to recover, so the doctors advised him that you should spend a lot of time for your exercise in order to regain back to normal, regain your physical status, physical condition back to normal as soon as possible. So the doctors advised him to spend at least minimum 4 to 6 hours every single day. So then he invented his own method to chant. And in fact, he invented in such a way that how to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra throughout the day and night. He invented in such a way that how to chant the holy name constantly, because for every single activity that he has to do, eating, walking, shower, every single activities he has to depend on somebody else. So like every single walk, every single steps he takes, he chants half a mantra for every single steps mentally, mental chanting. So like that, whatever walking he does for the day, he chants, mentally he chants Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And whenever he eats, whenever he feeds himself or somebody is feeding, for every single feeding he chants one mantra mentally. And then whenever he meets the devotees in like this group darshan or private, whenever he gives blessing, he is famous for giving blessing. For per head, he chants one mantra mentally. Or after the class, when devotees come forward, when he distributes prasadam, per head, per handout, he chants one mantra mentally. And then also in the bathroom, because the caretakers, they bathe him, they do everything for him, except the brushing he does himself. So even while in the bathroom, because the hands are free, he chants Hare Krishna Mantra using his fingers. And sometimes while he does his brushing, at the same time, he taps his leg, he taps his feet. And with that, for every single, he chants mentally Hare Krishna Mantra. For one mantra, he taps like this. While brushing, somehow he has this ability to do multifunction. He has his multifunction brain. He can do few things at the same time. While brushing, he chants Hare Krishna Mantra mentally. So this, throughout the day and night, he chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And also, beside that, he has his, since he can't hold beats properly, because he doesn't have this function of this fine function of his fingers. So he uses clicker, and with clicker he chants around 8 to 9 rounds a day just by clicking. And then every single day, since the doctor seriously advised him to spend 4 to 6 hours for exercise alone. So in the morning, as soon as he wakes up in the morning, just on the bed itself, he lies down and he does his simple exercises, which is mean like moving every single part of your body. So he has his pattern of different type of exercise for each part of the body, and he has his count for every single movement like this, say 36 times. For every one cycle, he chants one mantra mentally. So like that he completes at least 8 to 9 rounds just with this exercise, 1.5 hours. Just by doing exercise, he chants. And there is a person, the caretakers have been trained how to keep account of all this, of all the mantras that he chants throughout the day and night. And even during night, he keeps his clicker just next to him, because he doesn't get a good sleep sometimes, because just sometimes in order to change his position, the caretakers have to come and change his position. So when they change the position, he sometimes loses his sleep. So he grabs his counter, clicker, and he chants the Hare Krishna mantra until he falls asleep the next. So this is how he modified himself, his whole lifestyle after having this stroke, that constantly, right from the time you wake up, even till you go to sleep and even while sleeping, how to chant the holy name constantly. And with this, daily, he completes an average of 20 rounds every single day. With the clicker, 7 to 8 rounds. And then early in the morning, as soon as he wakes up, with different kind of exercises, he chants another 8 to 9 rounds. And then eating, while feeding himself, while brushing, and then while blessing. So he has constantly, with all his spiritual activities, he has added this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra also. So this is another way, a very good example that no matter, because people like us, being in a physically normal condition, we may think that I don't have time to chant, I'm so busy. But here is a good example to show us that how, without any excuse, if we find a way, we have a desire, we can find a way to complete our rounds. A very good example. Physically challenged condition is depending for every single thing, is depending on somebody else. And even in this condition, he find a way without any excuse, because for chanting, no excuse. So without any excuse, he found his own method to somehow complete his 16 rounds. And in fact, he chants more than that. So the reason why we are telling this is that just for our own inspiration, to inspire ourselves. Because for normal people like us, physically normal, we should not have any excuse for not completing our rounds. So this is a great inspiration actually. So this is what we wanted one aspect that we wanted to share.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was a very great visionary. He used to do on the way to the temple, like 10 blocks away from the temple, he used to bring many kind of dramas, people doing different shows, cultural programs. So the people will walk from the Ganges up to the temple, seeing all the programs, like seeing this program, seeing this program, seeing this program, and then coming to the temple. So he had that vision how to attract people. So in those days, the planetarium came, and he thought that he wanted to have a planetarium in Mayapur, how to show the Vedic cosmology in Mayapur, so people can understand this universe according to the Vedic science. And he told Srila Maharaj, he told Srila Prabhupada and many of his disciples about his idea. So every acharya tried to do something special for the Dham. Like for example, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he built what? Yogapith, the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. And like that, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta started the Narayan Mandal Parikram. So Prabhupada, during the disappearance day of his spiritual master, he was giving a lecture, and in that lecture he started saying how his Guru Maharaj wanted a temple, a very big temple, to be placed in Mayapur. And then when he started saying that, he broke in tears, and he couldn't speak anymore. And then he started saying to his disciple how he was so grateful to all of them for helping him to this become possible. So this was very dear for Srila Prabhupada, this project. And actually, if you think about, in this Kali Yuga, I mean, Lord Chaitanya doesn't come in every Kali Yuga. Yes, it's very rare the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. And his dam was built by Radharani herself to please Krishna. So doing any service for Lord Chaitanya is very rare. So we're very fortunate and very lucky. And to be able to build, to make this temple happen, is a very, 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 very rare opportunity in our lifetime as a soul, in our eternity as a soul. Because this will happen only once. You know, it's like this thing that happens only once in your life. Like a blue moon is something that you may see only once. Like a UFO landing in your ground, you see only once. This only happens only once. It doesn't happen twice. We don't have so many opportunities like this opportunity. So when Guru Maharaj was in the ambulance, after coming out from Hinduja Hospital, he went to Bhaktivedanta Hospital, and then he was invited by Radhanath Swami to one program. So we took him in the ambulance, and I asked Guru Maharaj, what happened when you have the stroke, like when you were unconscious. And Guru Maharaj remained silent for a while. Then he said, when I was dead, I saw Krishna, and I requested him one thing. And these words until now are struck in my heart. Because, every devotee we're practicing just to, if you see Krishna, you don't want to come back to the material world anymore. Once you see Krishna, you just want to go out. But it's your lover, or your object of worship. Everything is there. You just want to embrace him and go. But Guru Maharaj said, I have a small request. I would like to stay. Because I didn't finish my mission to Srila Prabhupada. I didn't finish the temple of Vedic Planetarium. So I would like to stay. So I asked Guru Maharaj what Krishna says. So well, I didn't demand him, but I was a request. So this shows how important for Guru Maharaj is this project. As I said before, I wanted to focus in one of the missions that Guru Maharaj has in this planet now, that he's very conscious about, that he really wants to see through. And this mission is to see through the temple of Vedic Planetarium. And actually it's not Guru Maharaj's mission only, it's all of our mission as devotees in ISKCON. Because this temple is our main temple. This temple is predicted by all the acharyas. This temple is predicted by Lord Nityananda, Ekanath Mandire, Hoilo Vilas, Goranga Nitya Seva, Hoilo Prakash. So there will be a wonderful temple where the eternal service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be established, and it will spread all over the world. That is a prediction by Nityananda Prabhu. So by helping to fulfill this prediction, we are serving previous acharyas, we are serving Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta has the desire Bhaktivinoda Thakur, actually Nityananda Prabhu, and Krishna. So this is something that Guru Maharaj is meditating every day, how to make this through, how to make this happen. And it's something that includes two things for us as disciples. as grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Includes service to, direct service to Dham, because we are serving the Dham. Like sometimes we want to do one service that affect millions. This is the opportunity to do a seva that will affect millions, will change millions people's hearts, will purify million people's. Every single person that step in this temple, they give a step in this temple and take darshan, will be a spiritual benefit for us. When Jagai Madai were forgiven by Lord Chaitanya, they spoke to Lord Chaitanya and they said, well, okay, thank you for forgiving us, but it's not that we only offend you. We have offended the whole Dhamvasis in the Dham. So Lord Chaitanya said, yes, true. Say, how can we be forgiven for that? It's okay, I give you a secret. So this is for all of us who want to be, those who ever think that they ever commit an offense and want to be forgiven, or they want to advance fast, there is a secret. So what is the secret? Lord Chaitanya said, build a ghat, so where all the residents can come and take bath. So by doing this service to all the residents, you will be forgiven for all your offenses. So this is our ghat. Lord Chaitanya is telling us, let's build this temple where every single devotee, Dambasi, and every single devotee all over the world will come. And whoever comes, you will get the benefit. And you will be forgiven for all the offenses. And whatever comes and do something spiritual, you will get that benefit. So this is our golden, unique one in our lifetime as a soul opportunity to help to build in the main place of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu this wonderful Adbhuta Mandir, this wonderful temple, where millions, nowadays we have 10 million visitors coming a year, but in the future we have 100 millions coming a year to our temple. So we have this chance, and that is the desire of Guru Maharaj. So we're thinking how we can make all together, how we can help and make this possible, and have this rare opportunity to help. In the Vishnu Purana said, someone who opened a temple never is tagged by Jamaraj. So this is our opportunity, and my humble request to help us to fulfill Guru Maharaj's instruction, to fulfill his mission, to fulfill Prabhupada's instructions, to fulfill his desire, because the whole spiritual process is how to please devotees. Yes or no? What is the secret? How to please the devotees. If we please the devotees, our life is fulfilled. It doesn't matter what our life is fulfilled. The devotees are happy with us, we go back to Krishna. It's like that. They give us blessings, we can chant better, we can do our sadhana better, we can do whatever we do, we can do better with the blessings of the sadhus and gurus. So with the blessings of the acharyas, if you fulfill that, you will get the blessings of the acharyas. If you help that, you will pleasing them. This is not a Jayapataka Maharaj project. This is our Acharya's project. This is Nityananda's project. And Guru Maharaj took it to help. Do you want to help? This is our golden opportunity for all of us to be part of this and help to build a main temple in Navadvip Dham where Panchatattva will move. And as soon as Panchatattva move, the Krishna consciousness will be inundate, flood the whole universe. Hare Krishna.
So I spoke on the how Jayapataka Maharaj, Guru Maharaj chants his rounds, being in this condition. And I'll speak the other aspect of his sadhanas, like reading, as I said, reading Prabhupada books is also a must for devotees. And then taking the darshan of the deities. Ever since, because as Ekanath was saying, that Guru Maharaj doesn't have lateral movement of his eyes, and also it's difficult for him to read by himself. So daily he has someone to read books for him. So like this, ever since he had stroke till today, he has finished Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and now he is reading Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And he spends an average of 20 minutes almost every night when he goes to sleep. Just before going to sleep, someone will read books to him and he listens. So in this way he has completed Srimad Bhagavatam, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and now he's on Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So this is how he also reads daily Srila Prabhupada books. So this is another way that when we say that we don't have time to read Prabhupada books, there are so many now audiobooks available. Audiobooks like from, what is this, Prabhu from Los Angeles, Srila Prabhupada disciple. Amala Bharta Prabhu. He has, almost all the books of Srila Prabhupada converted into audio format. So this is another way where we can, look into, without giving any excuse, how we can also read Srila Prabhupada books. So here is an example how we can read Prabhupada books. He has completed in the last 6 years Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita just by reading almost 20 minutes almost every single day. Someone reads to him. And he also made a point, since he's depending on others, the caretakers, to move him around to every single places he has to go. He also made a point that he has to see the deities wherever he stays. If there is a temple, he has to see the deities, go in front of the deities and take their darshan. And also he made a point that he wants to preach every single day. He has to talk about Krishna every single day. I remember when he was, because after we tried out all kind, the standard physiotherapy, physiotherapies in India, he was advised to go to USA to see if there is something better that he can do in these first 2 years of time to try to regain whatever possible. So in Los Angeles, he was taking therapy, and there he goes like, I would say 5 days in a week he did his therapy, and he wakes up around 5 in the morning, and then be ready by 7. He goes down he was staying in the temple, and he goes to the temple, take darshan of the deities, and then he leaves around 8 o'clock, drive, it's a 1 hour drive, and then he reaches the therapy center by 9, and from 9 to 3, 6 hours of therapy. After 6 hours of therapy, and then he drives back another 1 hour, and he reaches the temple around sometimes 5, sometimes 6, because in between he also goes to some other kind of therapies. And then when he comes back, like for normal people like us, if you do 1 hour exercise or 2 hour exercise maximum, it is actually very it is quite straining. Even physically it's very straining for us, for normal people like us, even if you do 1 or 2 hours of exercise. But being in this condition, if he does 6 hours of exercise, after doing 6 hours of exercise, he comes back, and then he makes sure that daily he meets some devotees. And daily there will be at least 20-30 devotees in his apartment. As soon as he comes back, waiting for him, and daily he gives class to them. And one day we saw, as soon as he came back from his exercise, he was having his dinner. Before the class he was having his dinner, and while he was having his dinner, he was falling asleep. And we saw even the prasadam was falling, because he doesn't have a full control of his mouth. So the prasadam was falling out from his mouth. He was extremely tired. And so we told the devotees who were there, about 15-20 of them, we told the devotees to quietly leave the apartment so that he can go and take rest as soon as he finishes dinner. And then after he finished devotees left, and after he finished his dinner, he asked, where are the devotees? And we told him, actually, Guru Maharaj, you seem to be extremely tired. We have never seen you like this, being in this condition. We never seen you like falling asleep even while eating. So therefore he told the devotees to leave so that you can go take early rest and be fit enough to go for your therapy tomorrow. And he got extremely angry. He just banged the table and he said, I don't want to live a life like just like a normal patient, like just by doing exercise. I don't want to end up my life with just by doing exercise, spending time just for exercise. I'm a sannyasi. I need to preach about Krishna every single day. I need to preach, I need to talk about Krishna every single day. What is life without talking about Krishna? So he said, you all make sure that in my schedule that I give class every single day. I preach every single day. So this is the, what we call the real enthusiasm, that no matter what we do, this special service that we have received, like for him, he has received from Srila Prabhupada, that is one of the instructions, to preach unlimitedly. So he has taken that seriously. So he makes sure that no matter where he is, somehow in his schedule that his preaching activities has to be included. So every single day he preaches, he gives class. Even if he's extremely tired, he'll speak for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So that day, since all the devotees already left, he said, switch on the camera, go on the internet, log into the website and I'll give class online. So then he did, and there was about 30 devotees who was watching his class. So like that, this is the enthusiasm. And how does he get this enthusiasm to do this? That is another subject matter that we will discuss later. So we spoke about this sadhana, aspect of sadhana, how he chants his rounds, how he daily, without fail, he takes darshan of the Lord no matter what, and then how he also makes sure that he preaches about Krishna and he reads book. So, being a devotee, normal devotee like us, physically normal, that we can take this as an inspiration, because even after initiation, we may face a lot of challenges due to our workload, family life, but yet here is a good example of how, no matter how busy we are, no matter how in whatever situation we are put into, we can still find some ways to do our need, the real need. I remember watching a documentary very long before, probably like 30 years back, when I was a small boy. I watched a documentary about a man who lost both his hands. And this man, they showed a documentary about how he's feeding himself, how he's even combing his hair, how he's writing just by using his toes. So when you don't have a way, when you don't have option, because he lost both his hands, but he has to survive, he has to feed himself. Why he has to feed himself? Because he has to stay alive. He has to eat. Eating is necessary to keep the physical body fit. So he has to feed himself, he has to comb, he has to take shower, and yet he was doing it. He found his way just by using his legs. So that's the way. Even in spiritual life, sometimes, no matter what situation we go through or no matter what condition we are put into, do not give up the most necessary thing which keeps our spiritual life intact and alive. Because for devotees, chanting and the sadhanas, reading Prabhupada books, chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, following principles, taking darshan of the deities, and preaching, these are all most important sadhanas for every single devotees. Because if we become slack in this, then our spiritual life goes down. So therefore, in order to keep our spiritual life alive, and progressive, these things are important. So no matter in what condition we are put into, we somehow have to find a way, try to accomplish this. And in this way we can see progress. Krishna doesn't see how successfully you are making, how successful you are in your sadhanas. He sees how much endeavor he puts into to make it successful. how much we are putting, how much effort we are putting in order to fulfill our sadhanas. Hare Krishna.
How many of you are temple commander or were temple commander in the past? Temple president? How many of you temple president? How many of you were temple president before? Regional secretaries? GBCs? Okay. Because I'm asking you this because sometimes any position naturally give us little pride. Little pride, temple commander, brahmachari ashram leader, head of pujari. So a couple of months ago, the committee from the GBC, they sent to Guru Maharaj a list of his zones to do some survey. So they sent 64 pages. He has like 47 zones, no? 47 zones where he's a GBC. 47, it's like mind-blowing. South India, South America, West Bengal, Malaysia, some islands in
Maldives, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh.
they have like so many areas and responsibilities. And although he has such a position and responsibility, he's very humble. This is something very unique to see. Because naturally with position, pride is very, you're responsible for so many places. Naturally, anybody will feel like, I'm the GBC and this and that. You say what you just do what I say and things like that. But we can see how Guru Maharaj is totally the opposite. He's very humble. And you can see that he's very humble. That in this condition, although he has such a, he developed Nadu Mandal Parikram. He's the chairman of the Bhaktivedanta Charity Trust that preserves all the temples in Gaura Mandala Bhumi, that includes West Bengal, Bangladesh, the places where Lord Chaitanya visit and spend time. He opened hundreds of temples. He did such an, Prabhupada told him to distribute 100,000 small books and 1,000 books a day, big books, Maha books and small books a day. And he's distributing that, trying to distribute every month that quantity. And apart, he is the Minister of Congregational Preaching, where this year we're being proud that we touch more than 10 million. 10 million people have participated in Namahata. 15 million people has participated in Namahata this up to now. That is how Guru Maharaj, 50 million people. Jai Gaura Premanande.
15 million people being introduced to Krishna consciousness.
Now we see, this is only West Bengal without taking into consideration Middle East, Australia, Russia, South America. This is another 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people more. And Bangladesh, hundreds of thousands more. So we're very, such a personality. And although he did such a service in our society, in our ISKCON society, yet he's every single day boss around by the secretaries and servants, do this, do that, stand, move, stand straight, stand tall, move right, move left, you don't need this, you don't need that, you move that, go now it's time for this, now it's time for that. That is that's how you see how humble a person can be. Because you're a guru, and you're a guru that did so much for our movement, yet, you need to tolerate your disciples to tell you what to do. I don't know if you can, picture the whole thing. It's a very unique position. That very humble, very very humble, very tolerant. Guru Maharaj is very humble and very tolerant. And that's the qualities, that one of the main qualities of a Vaishnava that we should carry in our neck. Very humble, very tolerant, always give respect, and even if he is not respected, he still keep it cool. Like the other day we said, well, I know some people may not respect me or not like me, but I follow Lord Chaitanya. I try to give them respect, and if they like me, fine. If they don't like me, it's okay. But I still need to offer respect. They say like that. So I was like very impressed. I'm very impressed. This is one of the qualities and things that Guru Maharaj have that really struck me and push me forward to try to do a little bit more for Krishna. How such a person exists in this material world. Because anybody will be like little puffed up, have such a position. But being in such a humble position is like unique to see. We're very lucky to see that. And I was reading in the Venu Gita, there were two parrots. They were discussing, I will make them pass them short. But then they start seeing in the ground Krishna's footprint in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is full of Krishna's footprint. So when they saw Krishna's footprint, they were in the branch, so they almost faint. And they were like head down, hanging from the tree from the legs. And they start crying. And they start to fill up all the Krishna footprint with tears from their eyes. So Mayapur Dham is full of footprints of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu and Panchatattva and all the associate of Lord Chaitanya. But actually they're not different from Radha Krishna, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahanya, Balaram Hoilo, Nitai. Radha Krishna is not different from Lord Chaitanya. And all the associates, they came to serve Krishna. So Mayapur Dham is very, now the Dham is very special. And we can see this year, although Guru Maharaj in this condition, he was full active in the meetings. We went around Mayapur many times. They went to buy new lands for Parikram. That we want the devotees to be more comfortable. We want to have our own places. And actually, I don't know how many of you went to Navadvip Mandal Parikram? So when you go to Navadvip Mandal Parikram, most of the places were bought by Bhaktivedanta Charity Trust and Navadvip Mandal Parikram Charity Trust. That Guru Maharaj is one of the chairmen there and supporting these projects in Mayapur. So all of us, we can get the benefit of the dam. We can go to Navadvip Dam and go to the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Naimisharanya, and different holy places. And we have the land there. We own the land. We're preserving the dam. So in the future, 100 years from now, we have the piece of land. We can show here Lord Chaitanya was here. This is the pastime. And Lord Chaitanya Eternal is performing the pastimes there. So this is one of the wonderful contributions that the Guru Maharaj is doing, not only for Mayapur Dham, serving the Dham, but for all the worldwide devotees. Guru Maharaj ki.
I explained how he was doing his sadhana, his reading, and if many of you I don't know how many of you believe or not believe. Just to let you know, we have record of all this, the last 6 years. Because sometimes devotees may not believe. So we are keeping a record of how many rounds he chants every single day, how many classes he gives every single day, how many people he meets every single day, meeting. And then how many minutes or how many minutes he reads Srila Prabhupada books every single day. We have his full sadhana record with us, if at all you wanted to see. So, speaking about his sadhana, because sometimes we may have an excuse, like sometimes we have some stomach pain or headache. We may think that, okay, let me chant, tomorrow, and probably I may skip my service today. So we may give all this kind of excuse when we face some physical problems or some challenges. And here is a person who was extremely active, but then after being put into this kind of physically challenged condition, still he is able to do what he was doing before. In fact, in this condition I would say, you should say more. He's trying to do more, in fact. He has said this before. Once Ekanath Gaura that he said that he started he became very emotional and even had tears. He said that, then Ekanath Gaura asked him that, why is that you are crying? He said that, actually I wanted to do more for Prabhupada, but I'm just not able to do because I'm in this condition. I'm being put into this condition physically, but actually I wanted to do more for Prabhupada, more and more. That much devotion and desire he has for Prabhupada. So why I'm saying this is that just the desire alone, because we may wonder what makes a person, because even being put into this kind of physically challenged condition, because if we are put into this kind of condition, the first thing we will think is that to retire from everything, our job, responsibilities. That's the first thing we'll think, to find a place like Adelaide, a nice small town, peaceful town, buy a small apartment and just concentrate on ourselves. But here is a person who has been put into this condition, but he still has desire how to do even more than what he was doing before. So the reason, what makes him to think so is that the devotion to his own guru, spiritual master. That gives him the enthusiasm, that gives him the spirit to do more and more and more for Prabhupada. That's the difference between him and us. That's the difference between the advanced devotees and me. So the most important aspect is that the devotion to Guru. That will keep you to move forward. That will keep you to move forward, and even in fact to keep our enthusiasm alive all the time. Otherwise, he would have retired by now. Otherwise, you won't see him in Adelaide today. Why he has to fly all the way from Russia, UK, another 12 hours flight to Malaysia, transit 12 hours and then 7 hours to Adelaide. Why? Because he wants to preach. Because Prabhupada told him to preach unlimitedly. And because he wants to see all of you. Because he wants to see the devotees. Because he wants to enthuse the devotees. And only a person who is always ever enthusiastic can enthuse others. Why people are getting enthused even seeing him in this condition? Because he is enthusiastic because of Prabhupada. Prabhupada giving him the enthusiasm because his devotion to Srila Prabhupada, he is getting enthusiasm from Prabhupada. And he is enthusing others. That's the main reason. So devotion to his own guru. That's very important. That's the key aspect. This is what I'm trying to say. Because why he is trying to fulfill his sadhanas every single day? Because he has accepted that the instruction. That's the instruction Srila Prabhupada gave him. And that's the first and most important instruction every single disciple received from their own guru. To chant 16 rounds and follow 480 principles. So unless you have a devotion to your guru, to the words that you receive from your guru, the instruction that you receive from your guru, and unless you have the devotion to that instruction, you cannot do all this. It's impossible for normal people to do. Because we saw this when he was taking treatment in this in USA, I Hope, the place, this therapy center is called I Hope, and he was taking treatment there. There were about another 30-40 similar people who have been put into this kind of physically challenged condition, post-stroke, brain damage due to accidents. People were there in similar condition, and most of it, 99% of those people were in a very depressive condition, completely depressed. They swear at the therapist, they speak foul languages, and some even sit and cry in the therapy center. And some of them were young, so young, and after being involved in accident and with brain damage, you see their whatever beautiful look they had now has become completely, you see their mouth is drooping and they're not able to walk anymore, not able to speak properly, normal anymore. For them they feel like the whole of whatever being normal is become abnormal. Because for every single thing, imagine for every single thing you do, for eating, for dressing, for shower, walking, everything you have to depend on somebody else. How do you feel like, you're so active doing all your things alone. I'm speaking about, okay, Guruma is one thing, speaking about normal people outside, You were doing everything on your own, and then now, say if involved in accident, and then you have to depend on others to do everything for you. And then all your whole normal lifestyle has become abnormal, completely opposite. You cannot enjoy anymore, you cannot drive fast cars anymore, especially in USA, cannot go to movie on your own. So people has become depressed due to all this. So that's a depression because they cannot enjoy themselves. They cannot get the same happiness, the temporary happiness they were getting before. After being put into this kind of condition, they're not getting those temporary happiness. So they were completely depressed, crying, swearing at the therapists. Some just push everything down. It was like completely abnormal. If you just to go inside the therapy center, you need to be a saint. To tell you the truth, you need to be a saint, and the therapist also saint. So how a person like Guru Maharaj, how he's able to overcome this depression? Because especially like young people, I saw there was one lady, her name is Eugene. This young lady is unable to walk, but she speaks well, but her face has become, squinted because of due to this brain damage. Squinted. For us, we don't even appear in a public if our face is squinted, or if you have a face drooping like this, your eyes are drooping, you're unable to speak properly, because you feel like, oh, I'm looking so ugly now in front of the mirror. That's how people feel. Even if you have a small bruise here, people feel very shy to go and appear in a public because they attach to our body. And here is a person also with droop face, eyes drooping, unable to speak properly, unable to do anything properly, but yet is still so attractive. He can still attract so many people, and is still not being put into depression. Why? What keeping him to be completely aloof from this depression, the shyness, embarrassment? Why? The spiritual Sakti. The real beauty lies within ourselves. The real beauty comes from the soul, not from the external appearance. Because for those who are not spiritually advanced, we think, this body, and we depend on our body. So therefore we feel shy to appear in front of people when we have ugly face or our face is drooping and when we cannot speak properly. But when you completely cross beyond this, beyond your bodily platform, when you derive the happiness, the enthusiasm, the beauty from your soul, then you can overcome all this. So therefore it is important, our sadhana. Spiritual life, why spiritual life is important? Because when you spiritually advance, you can easily overcome all these material boundaries. You can completely cross all these. Once you spiritually advance, you can overcome all your depression easily. These material boundaries and depression. So this is another key to unlock ourselves. How to come out of depression, because people nowadays, every single person you meet in the world, everyone has to go through this depression due to various reasons. So by spiritually making ourselves very progress and advance, we can overcome depressions easily. So spiritual life is the key to overcome depression. Hare Krishna.
So the words, I'm not this body, like sometimes Gurmas, something happens, I'm not this body, are like very, at least for us, they're taking so many different meanings. Because you take one of this body, we just say one of this body, but how to live, like in Guru Maharaj we can learn how to live and every stage of life, how to live according that we are not this body. That's why I'm saying it's taking different new meanings in our daily life. By saying Guru Maharaj in many situations that a normal person will not do it. We were doing therapy just now. Guru Maharaj was sick in Calcutta. He got a flu during the Rath Yatra, very heavy flu. So he was on the antibiotics. And then he was in such a bad shape that he couldn't even stand out of his bed. When he was eating, his body was tied with a belt in the chair so he couldn't fall. It was such a very difficult condition. And we were very afraid. Then we did Ayurvedic treatment. Immediately he recovers. His blood pressure became, he's out of many of the blood pressure medicines now today. And his blood sugar became better, his liver conditions became like normal. I mean, it was the best test ever I saw in my life of Guru Maharaj. So I was so happy when I read the blood test, I couldn't sleep. And then, the therapy is supposed to continue until 17th of September, and then 10 days more for recovery. I mean, she has to make the medicines to act in the body, to react. So, I was like, yes. See, this is it. With this blood test, I mean, in almost 1 month we achieved this much. 15, 20 days more, or 1 month more, we will achieve double. I couldn't sleep. I was like, yes, finally something good is happening to us. And Guru Maharaj lost so much weight. He was so light. Just to walk was very easy. And then somehow Krishna removed me and I went to UK. I mean, luckily Krishna removed me. But and then I called Maharaj and said, no, Guru Maharaj is stopping the therapy. I couldn't even, that was Janmashtami day. I was so upset. I told Maharaj, you know what? Guru Maharaj want to go to Russia and have the first class ticket. I'm sitting with him, so I will not go, let him go alone. Or you buy another first class ticket, you go yourself, spend $10,000, you go. I won't go. And I hung the phone. I was completely frustrated and upset because what is 15 days more? It's 15 days more. It's like, 15 days. You can recover, like get your health back, and then go preach wherever you want to find. You give me 15 days. And Guru Maharaj said, no. Because there are 6,000 devotees waiting for me in the Black Sea Festival. I need to go. So this is when I say, like, I'm not this body, take a whole new meaning. Because it's not like he was in a perfect shape. It's not he was like, jumping in one leg. Still, there was so much room for improvement. But he said, no. I want to go to preach. I want to go to preach. And when Guru Maharaj said, I want to go to preach, you can put all the excuses. You can bring, everybody. We brought everybody. We brought the GBC, the Mayapur co-directors, disciples. Then we got to start talking to Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj said, yes, but no. So frustrated. I was so frustrated. But at the same time, this is a new meaning, but not this body. So for Guru Maharaj, it's not like he's whimsical, but he has his purpose in his life, his mission. Like Maharaj was explaining now, he has his mission for Prabhupada. He's a sannyas, he wants to preach, he's a guru, he wants to meet the devotees. That's where he finds happiness, that's what he gives him life, that's where he can share Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes with other people, change people's hearts, and that's what he does. Even if that means going back to square zero again and start therapy again. He even risked that. He even, it's amazing. And although I get so much frustration in one side, I get so much happiness in another side. It's like, it's totally wrong, but at the same time, it's totally right. That is the new meaning of we're not this body for Guru Maharaj. There is a story. This is that's a story. I will try to make it short. It is a true story that happened in Mathura. This is about how much we need to endeavor. This true story. There was one Brahmana. He was worshipping his Radha and Krishna deities. And when he was worshipping, he went to the market to buy. He thought, I want to get some flowers. Now is the flower season. There are nice roses. So I want to get some flowers to dress the deities, to offer to the deities. So while he was walking, he saw a very beautiful basket full of roses. That it smelled really good. So he thought, I should buy this basket for my Lord. I want to offer these flowers to him. It's so beautiful. So with that mood, he asked the flower man how much it cost. He said, 10 rupees. It's okay, I want to buy the whole basket. But then a Muslim person came and I said, how much it costs? So the flower man was like, 15 rupees. I said, Hare, you just told me 10 rupees, but he's paying 15 now. So he said, okay, I want to buy this for my Lord. He was a very poor Brahmana. He said, okay, pay 20 rupees. So the Muslim guy said, oh, okay, I pay 30 rupees. So 30 rupees was a lot of money. He didn't have that money. But he wanted that flower for the Lord. He said, okay, I pay you 35. So the Muslims, I pay 50. So then he didn't have any more money. 50 those 500 years ago was like millions, I don't know. So much money. So he said, well, I'm a devotee and I want these flowers for my Lord. How can this happen? My Lord is the richest person in the world. I will buy these flowers, saying, you know what, I pay 100 rupees for the flowers. And I will buy the whole basket. So the Muslim guy couldn't compete with that. So he went back to his house, he sold everything. And he came back with the money and gave the 100 rupees. He sold everything. So the same day, he made a nice garland and put it to his Radha and Krishna deities. So at the same time, Srinathji Vrindavan, Govardhan, when the pujari was almost to open the altar, he saw that Srinathji was with the neck twisted. So the pujari asked, my Lord, what happened with your neck? Are you okay? Are you having some problem? So Srinathji replied, the Shas in Mathura, my devotee offered me a very beautiful garland with so much devotion that I cannot stand the weight of it. So, in this way, whatever we do, we need to put some effort. We need to do some sacrifice. We need to sacrifice for something that has a meaning. And that is shown in Guru Maharaj's life. How he sacrificed. Because without sacrifice, we cannot make the Lord to bend his neck. We need to make the Lord to bend his neck because of our service. That is a sacrifice that is required in our daily life to please the Lord. And that is the sacrifice that great Vaishnavas does, like Guru Maharaj. It is such a sacrifice. Just to come here with such an austerity, such an unbelievable austerity. And for us, we're young, still we go through so much pain just to travel. Imagine for a person with physical challenge difficulties. That is what we can learn, what we can see. Hare Krishna.
How much time do we have for
Hare Purusha Prabhu?
He's speaking on the phone. He's speaking on the phone.
So, he spoke about his enthusiasm to practice the sadhana, preaching, and to try to fulfill the instruction Srila Prabhupada gave him. So how much he sacrifices. All this comes and he's able to do all this because attachment to his Guru, because devotion to the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. In his life, Srila Prabhupada gave him many instructions, many instructions, almost 60 or 70 kind of different instructions he received from Srila Prabhupada. And Shastra says that Vani means instruction, that one can associate with the spiritual master, one's spiritual master in two different ways. One is Vani and another one is Vaku. Vani means you can associate with your spiritual master through Vani, instruction. And you can also associate with your spiritual master Vapu, through Vapu. Vapu means physical, like you try to render some personal service to him. And Vani means you try to render service for whatever instruction that you receive from him. So these are the two ways where you can associate with spiritual masters. But most of us, we like to be in the personal association of our one spiritual master, because that's more relation. We feel like more personal, because Vani is, though it is doesn't have a form. Vani doesn't have a form. It's an instruction, and doesn't have a physical form. But Vani is actually more powerful and permanent. Vapu will last. It's also powerful, but it is temporary. Temporary in a sense that Vapu will last only as long as the spiritual master remains in this world, as long as his physical body remains. Srila Prabhupada met his spiritual master only 3 times, and he only associated physically with his spiritual master 3 times. But at each meeting he received different instructions, and Srila Prabhupada took it very seriously about these instructions. Receiving instruction, because many of us, we would like to receive instruction from our own spiritual master. Those who are initiated, you have your own spiritual masters, and you may receive different kind of instructions from him. Receiving instruction is one thing, but to dedicate yourself to fulfill those instructions is another thing. Again, receiving instruction is one thing, but to dedicate yourself, your life and soul for those instructions is another thing. Because many of you would have received instruction, but how many of us can really dedicate our life and soul for those instructions? Like, why I said Vani, instruction, Vani is permanent, and Vapu, though it's powerful, it is temporary, because like Krishna, right? Lord Krishna, he spoke Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita, that was spoken 5,000 years ago. And till today, Bhagavad Gita is powerful. Bhagavad Gita can still change the life of people. People can read, by reading Bhagavad Gita, people can still feel Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because Vani is as good as the person who gives it. Okay. Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, there is no difference between Bhagavad Gita and Krishna himself. So similarly, the spiritual master and his instructions are similar. They are almost as good as the person who gave it. So therefore, dedicating oneself to the instruction of Guru is more important than trying to associate through Vapu. And therefore, here, like Guru Maharaj, he received many instructions from Srila Prabhupada, and he is trying himself to fulfill those instructions, and he gives his life and soul for those. I'll tell you one very nice story. Ananta Alvar is one of the disciples of Ramanujacharya. At that time, in Tirupati, after Lord Srinivasa has been established, and because it was a thick forest filled with wild animals over there in Tirumala, the hilltop, and nobody dared to go and do the service for daily puja for Lord Srinivas. But the Lord is already there. So Ramanujacharya, he told Ananta Alvar, you go up, you make a nice garden, and daily make a nice garland for Lord. And you also try to establish the arati, and you make a nice well so that the Lord gets nice fresh water to drink. And in this way, you stay there and try to establish all this. Ramanujacharya gave him this instruction. And Anand Talwar, receiving this instruction, specific instruction from Ramanujacharya, he went up to the Tirumala. And there he established a nice garden, and daily he plucked nice flowers, and he was offering these nice garlands to the Lord. One day, Lord Srinivas told another Brahmin Pujari, go and call Anand Talwar. I wanted to meet him now, right now. So this Brahmin went. He went, and when he went to meet Anand Talwar was making garland for the Lord. And then this Brahmin told Anand Talwar, hey, the Lord himself is calling you. He wants to see you now. Then Anand Talwar said, well, tell the Lord that I'm busy making garland, and I'll come and see him later. The Brahmin was shocked. What? Okay. Then he went to Lord Srinivas. He said, my dear Lord, I called Anand Talwar. I told him that you wanted to see him, and he refused to come. And the Lord became angry. He said, I am the Supreme Lord. I am Lord Srinivas, the Lord of this Tirumala. I am calling, tell him that I am calling him, and that I want to meet him now, right now. I want him to come here right now. So the Brahmin got scared, and then he went back. He met Anand Talwar. And he told Anand Talwar, you know, the Lord is angry now. He really wants to meet you right now. Is Dimash now?
No, go ahead.
So he said that the Lord wants to see you right now, and he's so angry. And the Lord is so angry, and he wants to see you right now. Then Anand Talwar said, well, tell him that I'll come and see him right after I finish my service here. Finish making this garland. And then this Brahmin went back again, and he told Lord Srinivas, well Lord, I don't think so you can persuade him to come now. He said, as soon as he finished making the garland for you, he'll come. And after some times, Anand Talwar came, and he met Lord Srinivas. And Lord Srinivas, Srinivas, he was still angry. He said, Anand Talwar, how's that I, the Supreme Lord, the Lord of this Tirumala, I wanted to see you, but you refused to come on the spot as soon as I called you. Then he said, well, Lord, you may instruct me, but my Lord, who is Ramanujacharya, he gave me an order to make this garland for you. And he said that I have to make this garland before this particular flower blooms. Because once this flower blooms, it will lose its fragrance. And I won't be able to offer nice garland for you. So my spiritual master Ramanujacharya, he instructed me to make this garland before this flower blooms. And when you called me, I was actually making these garlands for you. And I don't want this flower to bloom. If I leave the flowers, and if I would have attended to you, I would have disobeyed the order of my spiritual master. So therefore, for me, the order of my master is more important than your order. Because with this order, I am here doing service for you. So even if you order, because Srinivas told him, I forgot to tell you this. Srinivas told the Brahmin that if he failed to come now, tell him that I will banish him from this Tirumala. So when he came in to meet Lord Srinivas, Anand Talwar told him, even if you try to banish him, I will not leave this place. Because my spiritual master told him to stay here and to do service for you. So that's the, this story shows how the instruction of the spiritual master, sometimes even more powerful. How seriously, Anand Talwar took the instruction of spiritual master, more than the Supreme Lord himself. So that's the devotion to it. Because, go up, you make a garland, that looks very simple instruction, but that's why receiving instruction is one thing, but devoting oneself, one's life and soul to that particular instruction is another thing. So instruction of the spiritual master is very important. One should give life and soul. It may look simple instruction, but life and soul. Then you can see the progress in our spiritual life. And for every single disciple, chanting 16 rounds, following Pastimes principles, if you devote yourself, devote your life and soul for this instruction, you will see the progress. This is what Srila Prabhupada also told. Hare Krishna.
Should we go a little bit more, Prabhu?
This is half an hour. And this Eddie is up and he's getting dressed.
So when
Yeah, it's in the green bag. Oh, the green bag.
so we can you call Haridas? Okay, that is in the green bag. Sorry. So Srila Vyasadeva, when he was asked how to become how to attain bhakti and become happy very fast, he quoted a verse from the Svetata Tantra. It's a very important verse related to what Maha was saying. But before I quote the verse, I was thinking something. Like he was talking about Bani and Bapu. I was thinking how Bani has two things that Bapu doesn't have. The one is the factor of separation. And sometimes when you are too close to the Guru, you don't appreciate. You are like, you don't appreciate, or you commit, or it's easy to commit Vaishnava parad, etc. But when you are far from your Guru, then you are meditating in your Guru all the time. And you are in this separation that you want to please him and serve him. You're meditating. We can see this in many Prabhupada disciples that met Prabhupada only once. Now they are gurus because they were meditating constantly in how to serve Prabhupada, in how to do this and how to do that in his mission. And the other factor is that we can serve the mission through the instruction. We can serve the instructions. So I was thinking on that, and I wanted to share how these factors are very important. Will give us separation and will give us meditation. Same that when Vaishnavas, they have separation from Krishna, they meditate in Krishna. In that way they are united. So, yes, I say Sarva Sadhana, from all the sadhanas, Sarva Sadhana Mukhi, Guru Seva Sadadritaha. See, the service to Guru. From all the sadhanas, if we serve Guru, so the service to Guru is stress. From Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Paranam, Sevanarcham, Atmanivedanam, Sakyam, Dasyam, etc. The service to Guru is most important. Like what Maha was saying, Archana. You need to go and do your puja, God is calling. But Guru is saying, you do the flowers like this. So this is a principle, it's a principle. So if you do that, Bhakti Bhavati nice, I can't remember this slogan, but you achieve Bhakti very fast. So you achieve Bhakti very fast and you become very happy. So who wants to become happy? Who wants to get Bhakti very fast? So this is the formula given by Srila Vyasadeva and by our previous acharyas. It's a stress. How important is the service to the Guru. How to make because we have many business. How many here is a businessman? That does business. How many of you? So we have many business. And we work in many companies. But our main business, Guru Maharaj was asked in London. Because one devotee says, the Bhagavad Gita says, 9.3 Yashradadana Purusham Dharma Sasya Prantapar, how to get this unflinching faith. What is this unflinching faith? So Guru Maharaj said, well, we have many activities to do in our life where we can put our faith. We can put our faith in this and that. Like for example, we take the airplane, we took the A380 from London to Malaysia. It's a huge airplane. And we have faith. that it will fly and it will arrive safe. Because if you don't have faith, you don't take it. Yes? So we have faith. So we put faith in so many things that can fail. And they have proven to fail. Because so many times airplane fail. You know, but still we have faith and we get into the system and fly. And Guru Maharaj said, we put faith in these things. We put faith in so many material things that will most probably fail. And at the end it will fail because material things are temporarily fail. So we should put faith, when we put our faith in Krishna, in anything related to Krishna, then this is preaching faith. When most of our faith, all our faith is put in Krishna. Of course we need to put some faith in material things because we are living in the material world. So we need to act in this material world, maintain our body. But when the rest of our faith is put on Krishna, in Krishna's service, then it's a fleeting faith. It becomes fleeting faith. So that is the kind of faith that we can see in Guru Maharaj, how his whole life, dedication, enthusiasm, determination is put in Krishna. In every single time I was in the toilet yesterday in the airplane. And then when Guru Maharaj was in the toilet in the airplane, we start chanting Paramakaruna. So, you know, he started Paramakaruna. So what Guru Maharaj? He started singing the song, the whole song, in the toilet. So like that, today I was in the table, so Guru Maharaj asked a question. Why Pundarik Vidyanidhi is called as Baba Pundarik? So I asked Guru Maharaj, from where you got that question? Because why is called Pundarik? It's called Pundarik Bab because of the father. Pundarik was the father of Radharani in the Krishna Lila. Or it's called Pundarik Bab because of other things. So I said, Guru Maharaj, from where you got that question? What are you thinking in this kind of question? And he said, what else can I think? This means that, and I can see Guru Maharaj every day. He's like meditating in some pastime. Like you can see Guru Maharaj alone, even while he's sitting or talking or something. If you pay attention, you will see. With your own eyes, he's like laughing like that alone. So because we know that he's thinking in some pastime, but you can ask, he will tell you a story. So like that. And today also he wake up in the airplane, like at 5 a.m. So he starts telling me the story of Satyabam, the Jayapataka jewel. So I wonder who has the Jayapataka jewel. And I said, what happened? I just have a dream with the pastor of Krishna and the Jayapataka jewel. And he started telling me the whole pastime. And that means absolution. And we can see how Guru Maharaj is very absorbed in the pastimes. And at the same time, how he's very absorbed in his mission. That's why I start my speech talking about TVP mission. Because it's one of his main contribution that he wants to live in this planet. He wants to see this to be a reality before he leaves. He wants to see this built. So we're thinking, how can we all help Prabhupada? Because Prabhupada desired. How can we all help Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? How can we all help Guru Maharaj in seeing this become a reality? And how can we all take part of this wonderful opportunity? Sometimes I think it's so wonderful, like I cannot sleep, thinking how rare it is that we can have this opportunity to serve Mahavaraha, to serve the Dham. One time I asked our good friend and god brother Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. He came and told me, so you know what is in the same level of Guru, even more powerful? I said, nothing. I said, no, there is one thing. I said, okay, what? I said, Dham Seva. I said, you know, Dham Seva is as powerful as Guru Seva. Even more. I don't know if even more, but. He said like that? Okay, he said, Dham Seva? I said, yes. So from that moment, even in my heart, became like more powerful how to do something for the Dham. Because in 10, 20, 30 years, everything will be built. 50 years with the whole Dham and all the holy places will be built, bought, the temple will be developed and everything, so will be nothing left behind for us. So this is now, happening now. It's like the train is leaving now. You take it, you go. We don't take it, we just will lament. It's like some devotee say, oh, I wish I would have traveled with Prabhupada, with Prabhupada more time. He called me and I didn't went, I didn't stay with him. And now I'm lamenting so much. I could have stayed with Prabhupada, but now my heart is pinching. So this is, we have the opportunity, what we do, or we lament in the future. So this is my humble request to all of you to please do this endeavor as the flower man did the austerity endeavor. He's all everything to try to buy the flowers. Guru Maharaj is giving his health, his personal thing, everything to just try to please Krishna. Let's put everything aside, try to make this project of Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, and the previous acharyas, Nityananda Prabhu. Imagine, just by fulfilling this project, we are helping Nityananda Prabhu to his prophecy come true. You know, sometimes we ask, please give me some personal service, Guru Maharaj, give me something, or we want something confidential. I don't know what can be more confidential than this. I try to think, and I cannot thinking in something like that. So this is our opportunity. This is what we need to endeavor. We need to put our energy and try to make this happen, because this will be a temple that will serve millions of people every day. Hare Krishna.
Long before, one of very senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada, I don't know whether I should mention the name, I think I better if he told few of us, he said how, because he was so dedicated to Srila Prabhupada, and and his, whatever Srila Prabhupada says, like, just dedicate themselves and they give life and soul. So he was that kind of person, of that caliber. But he said that when, after Srila Prabhupada left this planet, he was a sannyasi, and after Srila Prabhupada left this planet, he went to an ocean. He threw away all his sannyas cloth and danda into the ocean. Because for him, after Srila Prabhupada left, he felt the whole world has come to an end. He just couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't bear the separation of being away from Srila Prabhupada's physical association. That was the pain. So he said how later on slowly he regained himself. It took him many years just to realize that Srila Prabhupada is not with me anymore. It took him many years just to realize that Srila Prabhupada is not with him anymore. Then slowly he came back to Krishna consciousness lifestyle. He took up his spiritual life seriously. And he's still around, very wonderful devotee, is still around. And he said how more than the physical association of the spiritual master, the instruction of the spiritual master is more important. Because he was completely depending on the physical association of the spiritual master. But as soon as Srila Prabhupada left the planet, he almost lost his Krishna consciousness, in his spiritual life. And I also met another disciple of Srila Prabhupada. His name is Kurmarupa Prabhu. Kurmarupa Prabhu is not the Australian Kurma Prabhu, this Kurmarupa. He takes care of the cows in Vrindavan. He told us that though he is disciple of Srila Prabhupada, but he never met Srila Prabhupada personally, physically, never met him. And he received the initiation through letters. Those days, he received the initiation through letters, and he was in Canada at that time, and he received his initiation, and he was serving there in one of the temple, the farm. And he was actually insisting, his temple president, that he wants to go and meet Prabhupada in Vrindavan. And the temple president said, don't worry, Prabhupada is coming to the West, soon he'll be coming to the US, and he can go and meet him there. The temple president said, okay, stay back and do your service. When Prabhupada comes to US, you go and meet him. But he was still insisting, no, I want to go and see Srila Prabhupada, because this was like in somewhere around 1976 or 77, almost for the last part of Srila Prabhupada's life. But then when the news came that Srila Prabhupada has left the planet, this devotee also became so devastated because he missed the opportunity to see Srila Prabhupada in person. He became so devastated and so angry at the temple president, because even after telling the temple president and he wants to please allow me to go and see Srila Prabhupada, he said, no, stay back, you can see him in the US. So he was so angry, so mad at the temple president. But yet, he said, he started associating with Prabhupada through his books. Every time he reads Srila Prabhupada books, he feels that Srila Prabhupada personally speaking to him, as if like Srila Prabhupada personally reading the books to him when he reads. So he said, that's why the Vani, the instruction of a spiritual master, is permanent. Is there always, like how Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago, and yet people can realize Krishna, people can feel the Lord just by reading Bhagavad Gita. People, life can change, complete change. Why? Because the instruction of the Supreme Lord, which in the form of Bhagavad Gita, is as powerful as the Lord, is as spiritual as the Lord. So similarly, the instruction of the spiritual master is also as powerful as him, is as good as him. There's no difference. So one can also associate with the spiritual master in the form of Vani. Therefore, Vani is also powerful, Vapu is also powerful. But Vapu has a expiry date. But Vani, no expiry date. It's permanent, forever. So therefore, as a disciples, one should learn how to associate with the spiritual master in the form of Vani. Because physical association, as I said, there's an expiry date. Don't simply depend on this physical association. Vapu. One should also slowly train themselves how to associate with the spiritual master in the form of Vani. Because that's what will keep us going forever. This is very important, especially for disciples. And that is association, taking association with the spiritual master in the form of Vani. But Vani, that's one thing. Taking instruction, trying to receive instruction and trying to associate with him in the form of instruction is one thing. But sometimes the instruction can come in many different forms. Because sometimes the instruction of the spiritual master may be favorable for us. Sometimes may not even favorable for us. Because most of the time you expect the spiritual master say something favorable for us. What is favorable for us? But sometimes it can also may not be favorable for us. So therefore, disciple has to be prepared themselves and train themselves even how to receive instruction. Not only Gurudev, please give me instruction. That's one thing. Giving instruction is one thing. Getting instruction is another thing. And to follow the instruction is another thing. Like this Brahmin, when Mahaprabhu, when he was touring around in South India, he visited and he was staying in Srirangam. He spent most of his time in Srirangam. And one day, when Mahaprabhu went to the temple of Sri Ranganathji, and there was a Brahmin. And this Brahmin, he was sitting inside the temple, holding a Bhagavad Gita in his hand, and he was just crying profusely. And he even had many kind of ecstatic symptoms. Physically, it was so visible that he had many ecstatic symptoms within him. So when Mahaprabhu saw this Brahmin holding a Bhagavad Gita and crying profusely, Mahaprabhu went and approached him. My dear Brahmin, what makes you to cry like this? What do you feel by holding this Bhagavad Gita? Why are you crying like this? And the Brahmin said, look at my Lord. My Lord, who is the Supreme Lord, he is driving chariot for his devotee Arjuna. He has taken the role of Sarathi. And isn't my Lord is so merciful, so compassionate. And Mahaprabhu, before that, the Brahmin told him that my spiritual master told me to read Bhagavad Gita daily. But I am an illiterate. I am not able to pronounce these slokas of Bhagavad Gita properly. So people make fun of me, people tease me, people laugh at me. But yet, just because my spiritual master told me to read this Bhagavad Gita, I am trying to read this Gita. Then that's when he said, what made him to feel, to understand how compassionate the Lord is. So, though the spiritual master of the Brahmin knew that this Brahmin is an illiterate, that he will not be able to pronounce the verses properly, that he may not be able to read the Bhagavad Gita properly, yet he was trying himself, he was trying to follow the instruction of the spiritual master. And just because he was trying to follow the instruction of the spiritual master, he was successful, because Mahaprabhu, when the Brahmin realized how compassionate the Lord is, Mahaprabhu told him that you are the role model of reading Bhagavad Gita, And he gave him the blessing. And Mahaprabhu revealed himself that he is none other than Lord Krishna himself. He gave him the blessing to see Mahaprabhu as Lord Krishna. So, the point that I am trying to make here is that the instruction the Brahmin received from his spiritual master was completely contradictory to his nature. He was illiterate, yet the spiritual master of the Brahmin told him to read Bhagavad Gita. Even though knowing that he is illiterate, he told him to read Bhagavad Gita. And that is completely contradictory instruction to his nature. He is an illiterate and he told him to read. But just because he was trying to follow the instruction of the spiritual master, he was able to see the Supreme Lord, Krishna himself, through Lord Chaitanya. So that is the key point, that even though we receive an instruction which maybe sometimes may not be favorable to our nature, it may be completely contradictory to our nature, yet simply by following and accepting the order of the spiritual master, one can be successful in the spiritual life. So shall we end